Alright you guys, the Logitech G Pro Superstrike. This is just a first look, sort of quick thoughts type video. Full review to come later, but guys, first thing I'll just say really quick, this is easily the best mouse I have ever used in my entire life. Getting right into it, obviously the first thing what this mouse is all about are the clicks. These are haptic clicks, they are not actual mechanical clicks, and these are absolutely incredible. First thing I noticed about it, these are dead silent. So here's a very quick sound test. I'm not sure that even is audible on the camera, but it is very, very quiet. So we finally have a gaming mouse we can use in an office environment. Now what's cool about these haptic clicks is not only can you adjust the amount of force needed to actuate the click, you can also adjust how deep the click travels when it actuates. So you have 2 points of adjustment there. I have this currently on the most sensitive setting, and so it is very, very easy to click this, and this is a major leap forward to other mice like the G Pro Superstrike, where I made a video on this, you guys can go check it out, but essentially clicking this one was very difficult because it just requires so much force, and it makes rapid fire extremely easy because it doesn't just make the click easy to actuate, but it also sort of rebounds it right away. So it's just an incredible, incredible piece of technology, and I think this is really amazing. Couple of really quick downsides. What I did notice is that the scroll wheel on this one is a little bit harder to make travel than on the G Pro Superlight, for example. This one just kind of moves a little bit easier, and this one kind of makes a little bit more noise too. One, I guess, major downside to this mouse, the main downside I would say, is that this mouse is definitely a little bit front heavy. So it's definitely going to throw off maybe, your balance a little bit as compared to the previous generation G Pro Superlight. This thing felt very evenly distributed, but this one is definitely front heavy. It's not terrible though. This mouse is still very, very usable, and it's not as bad as, like, if you guys are familiar with the G309, this one, if you put a AA battery in the back there, this thing was like extremely back heavy, and it pretty much was unusable in my opinion. But anyway, this one is not that bad, but it definitely is there, and so it's really going to be personal preference if that's something that bothers you and is a deal breaker. But again, I think, well, one thing I would just say too is that if it's going to be unevenly distributed, I'd much rather have it be in the front than in the back, because when you have the uneven distribution in the back, that just starts to really make it feel like you're dragging the mouse around, whereas when it's in the front, it still feels like you're holding it a little bit more closer to center, at least in my opinion. So that's just one, I guess, probably the main downside to this mouse. So that's one thing. And then of course the side buttons, these are not actually haptic, so these are still going to make some actual click noises. But overall, guys, it feels very, very solid. Really quick, the mouse feet. These are not the best mouse feet, but neither were they the best on the G Pro Superlight. Both of these have, I'd say, mediocre mouse feet, although the Superstrike is not as bad. I think it's maybe a step up. You probably would want to replace these at some point, but for now it definitely gets the job done. So it's not like an immediate replacement, but it's not, it's going to be as good as one of those like Hyperglides or whatnot. A couple other things, a lot of branding on this mouse. I actually am using the included side grips, so that's covering up some of the branding. But we do have some, I guess, logos on the actual click buttons there. I don't really know what the point of that is. I don't know why there's a plus sign, and I don't know. This mouse would have been cleaner in my opinion without that, but whatever, it is what it is. There's actually some grips you can put on these clickers as well, so you could get rid of those by just masking them with some more of this grip tape. The grip tape isn't the best. It's not as good as like Corsair's in my opinion, but again, gets the job done, no real complaints there. Okay, really quick then, the dongle, it is a USB dongle. This is the same dongle as the G Pro Superlight rather. So both versions of those mouse use literally the exact same dongle, so you really can't tell them apart. I really wish this would have been USB-C, but it's USB-A, so that's fine. But just know that you'll have to have a USB-A port obviously available for that. But it is better than those like giant dongles that some mice use. This is definitely more sleek and portable. And of course there's space for it here in the back as well, so it's easy to travel with. The G Pro Superlight had that as well. Tracking on this mouse is brilliant, but it has been for years now, so there's really not much to mention there. Overall, guys, this is just an incredible mouse. Definitely the best mouse I have ever used in my entire life. And if you have the money for it, it is expensive, but I highly, highly recommend it. I am just so happy to see this technology finally arrive on mice. We've had the haptic clicks on trackpads for many years now. This is the first time we're seeing it on an actual mouse. I think it's really, really exciting, and I highly recommend this mouse. I'll do a full review later, but first impressions, this thing is awesome. Thanks for watching.